Hi, Maria here. Welcome to my channel. Today I thought I would share with you the fragrances that I literally cannot stop wearing through this whole entire summer season. These are the fragrances that I have gravitated towards, and I like to do this kind of every season, sometimes a little more often than that if I'm like switching it up tons. But yeah, these are fragrances that I just literally couldn't get enough of. And it kind of, well, some of them surprised me, some of them didn't. But I've got 5 kind of during the day fragrances and then 2 evening fragrances that I'd share with you. And yeah, are you excited? Because I am. Okay, and before I get started, if you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and hit that button. Join the Weird and Wonderful family. I would love to have you part of the community, and let's get started. So, the first perfume that I found myself wearing quite a ton was Floral Street's Wonderland Peony. Now this one has quite a lot of floral in it, so there is that peony aspect. When you smell it off the cap, you get quite a lot of the florals, but what I love about this is that there's raspberry bloom in it, which comes across as more like raspberry to me, like raspberry bloom. It smells raspberry. There's, I think, some passion fruit or guava in there, Sicilian lemon, so there's a bit of a bright, tart but sweet opening. But then as it dries down, like you get the peony, you know, that floral aspect, but then you also get cedar and cotton candy in the base. So as it dries down, it kind of almost sweetens up a little bit more. I really noticed that cotton candy with the raspberry, so I love that combination, but paired with, I think there's cedar and vetiver, or maybe it's just vetiver, but with the two, like with that kind of woodsy aspect, I find that this one doesn't get heady, but this one is very sweet. So yeah, for those of you that like sweet florals, you should really check this one out. The longevity isn't amazing, but I enjoy the fragrance enough that I don't mind spritzing myself, and I just kind of overspray, and then I'm good to go for like 5 hours at least. And yeah, I just really enjoy this. The other thing that I love about this, sometimes when you spray perfumes, I don't know, maybe you guys don't have this happen, but sometimes when you spray perfumes, it seems like it smells so amazing to begin with, and then I go to smell my skin and it doesn't smell amazing. like when it gets to that skin scent aspect, it's not the greatest. So in that deep dry down, it kind of goes a little funky. Sometimes I notice that. With this one, I never find that. What I find is that it stays sweet and delicious. So for me, this is a great fragrance too to be cuddling with, because you know, you have it on during the day, it smells all delicious, but then when it dries down on your skin, you get just that hint of sweetness on your skin, like your skin just smells sweet and delicious, and I love that. So really love this Wonderland Peony by Floral Street. I have another one that I'm planning on getting soon, which I'm really excited about. But yeah, I really enjoy Floral Street. I love the bottles. Like, I just think that they're kind of a little bit different. Like I said, the longevity is not great on this. So for bang for buck, not necessarily great. I think it's about 98 bucks Canadian for 50 mils, but this one is just beautiful. And it gives me that same sort of happiness that Sofia Vergara gives me. They're not anything alike, but it gives me that feeling of, you know, wearing a pink like dress from the 50s and kind of all of a sudden breaking out into a musical. I wish my life was a musical. Like, I could break into song quite often, but yeah, just that, like, all of a sudden, boom, 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 like, and happiness and like colorful, whatever. That's what I get out of this fragrance. And so I just so enjoy wearing it. It's definitely a mood lifter for me. So the next one, I've talked about it quite a lot, so I'm not gonna talk tons, but TRUSSARDI DONNA. I wore this a ton. Like, I don't know, can I see? I can't see, it's too opaque for me to actually be able to see where the level is, but oh no, I can see. So I've used about this much up. like so, a pretty decent amount. This is a 50 ml. So again, love this one. Now, what I love about this one is it's quite long lasting. There's lemon and yuzu in the opening. It's got some florals, it's got some creamy like vanilla, sandalwoody type aspects in the base. This one, it just, to me, this one comes across as a kind of a lemony custard. So although it's got that beautiful bright lemon fragrance in the opening, it has a creaminess to it, kind of a vanillic creaminess to it. It's not super vanilla, like I definitely get more lemon, but the lemon is just so tempered nicely with that vanilla aspect. So to me it smells like a creamy lemon custard, that type of thing. But the tartness is still there, but it's not like when I think about tart, a lot of times I think bright, sunshiny tartness that's clear. This is more creamy, like literally kind of a little bit opaque. The bottle's perfect for it because the lemon doesn't have that bright, light quality. There's a bit of depth to this. This one, the longevity is fantastic. That lemon stays around. So as far as a citrus is concerned, if you're wanting a citrus that lasts, this is right, like this is going to be your friend. Like if you like the lemon citrus. Now the EDT, that's more of the clear version. So it's not as creamy. Some people have described it, like some of my subscribers. Thank you so much for talking about it, because I think it's definitely worth a mention, but it tends to be a little bit more tea-like, a little bit more clear, if that makes sense. But still you get that beautiful lemony opening in it. But like the eau de parfum, I just love this. I wear it a ton. It makes me feel good. It's a fragrance that you could wear to the office, no problem. This is a year-round fragrance. But it's fresh enough during the summer that even in the deep heat, I didn't find this one ever to be cloying. So definitely check out TRUSSARDI DONNA. Okay, next fragrance, I just love this one, and it is TERRACOTTA by GUERLAIN. Now, this one kind of surprised me. I didn't think I'd like it as much as I did. Like, I bought it in the spring, and it was nice, but I didn't think I'd really love it as much as I do. This one, I just find it to be sensual, sexy. It's definitely something that you can wear in the day. It's not like a sex bomb or anything like that, but I just find this one so sensual. I said before that it reminds me of Moroccan oil or argan, a little bit of that Moroccan oil scent in it somehow. So it's got a little bit of that oil vibe. There's the tropical florals in this. It just smells luxurious. It smells relaxing. I find it relaxing, but I also feel like it's super sensual. So, you know, I describe this as being like a scent that you'd wear like in the 1940s and you're at a resort and you're always, you know, you're summering there, that kind of thing. So that kind of rich vibe. But what it reminds me of is if you've been laying on the beach for like quite a few hours and you've got, you've put an oil on, no sunscreen, like this doesn't smell like sunscreen, but you've got oil on and you've just been sitting in the heat and the smell of your skin with the oil and the sweetness of your skin. Somehow that's what this reminds me of. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe nobody else thinks of it this way, but I just find this extremely sensual and luxurious. So this is rich, sexy, Bob Shelley, rich lady perfume. Yeah, definitely get your nose on it. I know it's hard to find. But if you can find it, it's worth a sniff. It took a little bit for it to grow on me. But I seriously can't get enough of it. So I really love this. And in the heat, this thing is amazing. Whereas I find Bronze Goddess, like lots of people love Bronze Goddess by Estee Lauder in the heat, but I find it really cloying because of the tiare. Now this I think has tiare and coconut as well. So you'd think it would be kind of similar, but somehow this one isn't. I think it's rich, delicious, addictive, so good, so good. The next one that I have worn a ton is Scandal à Paris. Now, I got this just like a month ago and I've put a huge dent in it. This one I just really enjoy. Now for me, I definitely like that pear opening. This one has pear, jasmine, and honey. And so definitely I get the honey in this one. It took me a while to get used to this one, but as soon as I did, like I find it addictive as well. So I love the opening of this because the pear is so fresh and delicious. So it's kind of like a sweet, it's not a cooked pear. Like Labelle to me is more of a cooked pear. This is more of a fresh, but like super ripe, delicious, fragrant, juicy pear. So you bite into it, you smell that freshness from the ripe fruit. It's just gorgeous. And then of course you've got your jasmine in there, which is slightly sexy, and that honey, which kind of thickens it up and makes it a bit syrupy. But for whatever reason, even though this one has the honey, I don't find this one to be super cloying. So even in the heat, I wore this one and didn't mind it at all. I found that the longevity was not too bad. Like the longevity on this one, by the way, is at least 6 hours. Maybe longer. So I get really decent longevity out of this one, although I don't think everybody does. This one, I got really decent longevity too, like at least 6 hours. And it just smells so tasty. So I love the pear jasmine combination, and that honey just kind of makes it a little bit more sweet and seductive, but it still stays fresh because of that pear. So I've really enjoyed wearing this one, and I also started wearing it more because my husband, I mentioned this before, but my husband, he rarely comments about perfume, and I put this one on and he instantly was like, oh, what is that? I love it. So yeah, Scandal à Paris, definitely beautiful. I think a lot of guys would like it because if my husband mentions it, it's got to be pretty darn good. Because he doesn't really notice perfumes a whole lot. So I really enjoy this one. I enjoy wearing it. I enjoy kind of the way it develops. And yeah, now it still has that Scandal honey. So if you're not a Scandal honey girl, don't buy this. I'm not normally a Scandal honey girl, but with the pear and the jasmine, it was okay for me. I couldn't handle Scandal, like the original Scandal. I found that it kind of turned weird on my skin. I don't find this one is turning weird on my skin, so I'm really enjoying it and thankful. I'm thankful about that. Yes. Anyway, Scandal à Paris by Jean Paul Gaultier. Next one, again, it's a day perfume. I wore this tons, and I've talked about it tons, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. But it's Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue Love is Love. Now this one, I never thought I'd like it because I'm not a fan of the original light blue. But again, I am so in love with raspberry these days. So this has the lemon, like the brightness of the lemon, but it's got raspberry, it's got whipped cream or ice cream. I think it's whipped cream. But anyway, it comes across as, to me, a raspberry sorbet. And I just really enjoy it. It's invigorating, it's juicy, yeah, it's just great. And in the super duper heat, this is the one that I think I reached for the most because I just overspray it and it never got cloying ever. So I really enjoyed this one. The longevity on it is terrible, like 3-4 hours max. So you'd have to take it with you in your purse if you wanted to wear it all day. What I tended to do was I'd wear this in the morning. Holy, there's a huge jet going over. Can you hear it? What the heck? Maybe it's a UFO. Wow, I've literally, in the 3 years that I've lived here, never noticed a jet coming that close and being that loud. But anyway, Light Blue Love is Love. It's so pretty. I really enjoy it. I enjoy how invigorating it is, and if I need a boost or an energizer, this is the one that I reached for. It was so great in the heat. To me, this would be a great gym fragrance as well. I love the raspberry aspect of it as well as the lemon. And then that little hint of creaminess, not much, but just a hint of creaminess, made it sweet enough that I could really enjoy it. So yes, Dolce & Gabbana's Love is Love, love it. Okay, now the other two fragrances that I have are fragrances that I wore more as date night fragrances. Well, the one is a date night fragrance and the other one is a bedtime fragrance. The other ones are kind of like daytime fragrances. The first one I'm going to just quickly mention because I talk about it all the time. Hugo Boss Private Accord. I seriously cannot stop wearing this at bedtime. I love this one. And again, oh, I love the opening. Like, it's chocolate orange, kind of by Terry's chocolate orange. I love the sweetness of the chocolate. It smells like a really high quality chocolate bar that you've grated into almost powder. And then you put that in your mouth and then you squeeze some orange in there. The Hugo Boss has mandarin orange in the opening. It has coffee and osmanthus in the mid, and then the base is cacao and tonka bean. So I definitely get that hint of floral. It's a little bit peachy, but then you get that cacao and the tonka. I don't notice the coffee as much. To me, it's mainly chocolate orange with a hint of floral. But what I love about this one as well is the dry down. It's kind of the same vibe that I get from this one. So this one in the dry down, it's not a major projector. It's not got major longevity, but what it does have is just this sexy, delicious sweetness on the skin that I love. And it stays really close to the skin. So this is a great fragrance for for bedtime, for those intimate snuggle up moments. This would be wonderful for that. I just really enjoy it. I find it somehow extremely comforting. So love, love, love Hugo Boss, the scent Private Accord. So the last fragrance I have to talk about is Love by Sofia Vergara. Now this one I didn't like right off the bat. I think because I loved Sofia so much, I thought, okay, this one's going to be the same as Sofia, but better somehow, but it wasn't. So this one was completely different. Definitely more of an evening scent. I would say that I prefer Sofia over this one, but I found myself gravitating towards this for an evening scent in the summer. It's super sexy, sensual fragrance, kind of along the same lines as La Nuit Trésor. Maybe a little bit Black Opium-esque. I think it reminds me of La Nuit Trésor more. But it's that sexy, juicy fragrance that's great for evenings or date nights. So this one, I'm just going to read the notes because there's a ton of them. Top notes, passion fruit, orange blossom, mandarin orange, green apple. Middle notes, Colombian coffee, orchid, coffee blossom, orris, magnolia, and the base notes are praline, vanilla, amberwood, and ambrette. So what I find this one to be is just a sexy, kind of juicy, it smells like blackberry and chocolate to me. So this has passion fruit, orange, and praline. Somehow to my nose, it comes across as kind of a blackberry and chocolate, very similar to what I get out of La Nuit Trésor. Some people think this does smell a lot like Black Opium. Maybe it's supposed to be a dupe, but it's just kind of sexy, sensual, juicy. Yeah, it's just, it's like, it's nothing, like it's not some sort of like innovative fragrance. Like there's quite a few fragrances that are out there that are like this. But what I liked about this one is that even in that summer heat, I found this one in the evening to be just fine. It was still alluring, but it wasn't cloying at all. So I really enjoyed this for summer date nights and just found myself wearing it a ton. Like I can't actually believe, like I've used up, it was pretty much full until the summer, and I've used up a good chunk of it, and this is 100 mils. So definitely recommend this one. The fragrance is, again, I would not say that I like this one as good as Sophia. So if you love Sophia, this one may be disappointing to you, but for a date night fragrance, this one's super affordable and definitely worth checking out. And I think you could rock this one in the autumn winter too. But it was just light enough that it worked well for summer evenings. Gave me that hit of, you know, sex appeal, deliciousness, without being overbearing. I don't want to be, I am overbearing enough. I don't need my perfume to be that way. Yeah? And that is it. So there are lots of fragrances that I'm kind of shocked at because I thought I would have worn them a lot more, especially Olympia Aqua, Alien Eau Sublime. I wore those tons last summer. The one that I was thinking I would wear tons was Eau de Soleil Blanc. But for whatever reason, I think I would have worn it more if we'd have gone on a vacation, but our vacation plans kind of fell through. So I was at home and it wasn't the right vibe. So maybe next year I'll wear those more, but this year, these are the ones that I wore tons. I would say out of them, my favorite two would be Trussardi Donna. This was definitely the highest reached for. And then the second would be Terracotta by Guerlain. Love, love, love this fragrance. Super sensual, sexy. I even think this one works for a date night fragrance. I don't know what it is about this one, but it's stolen my heart. Indeed, I think my heart's over here. Anyway, that's it. What are the fragrances that you just couldn't stop wearing in the summer? I would love to know what they are. And other than that, I hope you have an amazing week, and we'll talk to you soon.